After many centuries of civilization, some things are bound to be lost to time. From concrete still standing after more than 2,000 years, to violins that sound like no other, here are 5 ancient inventions that we cannot replicate. A Stradivarius violin is one of the violins built by members of the Italian Stradivari family, most notably Antonio Stradivari, during the 17th and 18th centuries. Stradivari made his instruments using an inner form, unlike his French contemporaries who employed an outer form. It is clear from the number of forms throughout his career that he experimented with some of the dimensions of his instruments. The woods used include spruce for the top, willow for the internal blocks and linings, and maple for the back, ribs, and neck. A more modern theory attributes tree growth during a time of global low temperatures during the Little Ice Age, during which cooler temperatures throughout Europe are believed to have caused stunted and slow tree growth, resulting in unusually dense wood. Greek fire was an incendiary weapon used by the Byzantine Empire to set fire to enemy ships. It consisted of a combustible compound emitted by a flame-throwing weapon. Some historians believe it could be ignited on contact with water and was probably based on naphtha and quicklime. The Byzantines typically used it in naval battles to great effect, as it could supposedly continue burning while floating on water. The technological advantage it provided was responsible for many key Byzantine military victories, most notably the salvation of Constantinople from the First and Second Arab sieges, thus securing the empire's survival. The ingredients and the processes of manufacture and deployment of Greek fire were carefully guarded military secrets. So strict was the secrecy that the composition of Greek fire was lost forever and remains a source of speculation. Consequently, the mystery of the formula has long dominated the research into Greek fire. Despite this almost exclusive focus, however, Greek fire is best understood as a complete weapon system of many components, all of which were needed to operate together to render it effective. This comprised not only the formula of its composition, but also the specialized dromon ships that carried it into battle, the device used to prepare the substance by heating and pressurizing it, the siphon projecting it, and the special training of the siphonario who used it. Knowledge of the whole system was highly compartmentalized, with operators and technicians aware of the secrets of only one component, ensuring that no enemy could gain knowledge of it in its entirety. Roman concrete was a material used in construction in ancient Rome. Roman concrete was based on a hydraulic setting cement. By the middle of the 1st century, the material was used frequently, often brick-faced, although variations in aggregate allowed different arrangements of the materials. Further innovative developments in the material, called the Concrete Revolution, contributed to structurally complicated forms such as the Pantheon Dome, the world's largest and oldest unreinforced concrete dome. The strength and longevity of Roman concrete is understood to benefit from a reaction of seawater with a mixture of volcanic ash and quicklime to create a rare crystal called tobermarite, which may resist fracturing. As seawater percolated within the tiny cracks in the Roman concrete, it reacted with the phyllosite naturally formed in the volcanic rock and created aluminous tobermarite crystals. The result is a candidate for the most durable building material in human history. In contrast, modern concrete exposed to salt water deteriorates within decades. Archimedes was a Greek mathematician, physicist, engineer, inventor, and astronomer, and is considered to be one of the greatest mathematicians of ancient history and one of the greatest of all times. Archimedes may have used mirrors collectively as a parabolic reflector to burn ships attacking Syracuse. The 2nd century AD author Lucian wrote that during the siege of Syracuse, Archimedes destroyed enemy ships with fire. Centuries later, Anathemius of Tralles mentions burning glasses as Archimedes' weapon. The device, sometimes called the Archimedes Heat Ray, was used to focus sunlight onto approaching ships, causing them to catch fire. In the modern era, similar devices have been constructed and may be referred to as heliostat or solar furnace. This purported weapon has been the subject of ongoing debate about its credibility since the Renaissance. René Descartes rejected it as false, while modern researchers have attempted to recreate the effect using only the means that would have been available to Archimedes. It has been suggested that a large array of highly polished bronze or copper shields acting as mirrors could have been employed to focus sunlight onto a ship. Damascus steel was the forged steel of the blades of swords smith in the Near East from ingots of wood steel, either imported from southern India or made in production centers in Sri Lanka or Khorasan. These swords are characterized by distinctive patterns of banding and molting reminiscent of flowing water, sometimes in a ladder or rose pattern. Such blades were reputed to be tough, resistant to shattering, and capable of being honed to a sharp, resilient edge. In Damascus, where many of these swords were sold, there is no evidence locally of production of crucible steel, though there is evidence of imported steel being forged into swords in Damascus. Due to the distance of the trade for this steel, a sufficiently lengthy disruption of the trade routes could have ended the production of Damascus steel and eventually led to the loss of the technique. In addition, the need for trace impurities of carbide formers such as tungsten, vanadium, or manganese within the materials needed for the production of the steel may be absent if this material was acquired from different production regions or smelted from ores lacking these key trace elements. The technique for the controlled thermal cycling after the initial forging at a specific temperature could also have been lost, thereby preventing the final damask pattern in the steel from occurring. And those were 5 ancient inventions that we cannot replicate. Make sure to give the thumbs up button a gentle tap so that way we can help the channel grow and be blessed by that almighty algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.